Going to be focused on FaZe Clan and Acend. Here is the series layout. Strongholds on Recharge, Slayer on Aquarius, CTF on Catalyst, that'll be a first for me, King of the Hill on Livefire, and Street Slayer if necessary for games 4 and 5. And you know what, Tony? I wouldn't be shocked if we go to at least a game 4 here. You know, we're talking about Acend. This is like this is the championship team out of Europe. An amazing squad. But at the same time, though, everyone's coming into this event with a very high expectation for FaZe Clan. Question is, can they do it in a live event?
FaZe have had an up and down season so far. Even with this one roster change, we're bringing in the trio of Renegade, Falcated, and Spartan. They didn't start off hot. Yep. You're bringing KingNick, and we have high expectations once again. FaZe are really starting to emerge as closer to the God Squad that we thought they were, but don't count out Acend. We're talking about the #1 team out of Europe. They brought in Respectful just to take on the North American talent. Acend are here, and they will not go down easy.
Yeah, you're really hoping for players like Respectful to really bring up that clutch potential that they're so known for, right? And that is going to be a vital part of Acend. If they can try and frustrate FaZe, maybe, just maybe, there's going to be that opening for them. They can squeak away a few games. We're not going to sugarcoat it for you guys. This obviously is going to be a tough matchup for the European champions. But for FaZe Clan, though, I mean, I think it's safe to say that the expectations for the squad, the talent that's on the team, you'd be crazy if you didn't have them in your top 4 at the very least here in Orlando.
I love that you use the word frustrate them. The last thing you want FaZe to do is be comfortable on the map. When they're comfortable, they will run over you. We talk about it time and time again. Do not allow FaZe to set the pace.
Yes.
Acend needs to be playing their game. They know what it takes to win. Do not be trying to counter FaZe. Simply play your game and succeed.
All right, well, we're jumping right into the action and on board with Snipedrone. Of course, legendary player out of EU there, but that is going to be 3 down right out of the gate, Tony. It's only going to be Respectful left up to try and hold things off for the time being, but as it stands right now, this is going to be FaZe getting the C and B control as well as A, so you're going to need to respond to get C as soon as possible if you're Acend.
You know, you said Snipedrone. I thought you said Snipe Down. I was going to say FaZe have Snipe Down on loan to EU United, but you said Snipedrone, of course, coming out of Acend. One of the leading all-around players on Acend, not only able to be one of the leading slayers, but also that objective time, also playing support. Woo! He does everything for the team, and so does Spartan, ripping out with the shock rifle, holding down that gold side control, now chasing down the enemy Spartan, holding down this gold side literally by himself.
Expertly done there by Spartan as they're just going to continue to patrol around yellow. Great help, though, as Lqgend takes out Spartan. That's trying to open up this yellow side of the map for them so they can get a little bit of control of the map. You know, you just get so much vision when you have possession of this area, and Acend knows that. That's why they're fighting out of this. Obviously, they want to try and see if they can get control of A, but as it stands right now, FaZe just trying to force their hand, though, and Spartan gets the kill on Lqgend. That was an unfortunate one because Lqgend thought he very much had that kill in the books. Did not work out the way he hoped.
But it's still Acend that end up with that double cap, and now we're seeing points being put on the board for Acend. A 48-0 run by FaZe. Let's see how Acend respond.
Yeah, well, they're actually going to... FaZe are actually going to go and get B possession back. Looking over, though, it's going to be Spartan, of course, with that shock rifle, as, you know, what you would normally see him with it. High impact power weapon on the map here. Trade goes out. 2 players long haul. Spartan got the call that there's going to be someone over by glass, so he's going to go and check it out, do a little patrol. Ends up finding 2 of them, though. Repulsor doesn't do much to knock him back, though. Could actually hit him in the wall, but it does not. Spartan's able to get the kill, too. Another one, actually, going for Renegade to boot. And even though Lqgend does get the better of him here, for right now, this is all FaZe, Tony.
The last time we saw these 2 teams match up, it was a close match. It was 250-222 in favor of FaZe. This is Ascend's best game type is Strongholds, and as of right now, FaZe are dominating. If Acend have any chance to come back, to be on the back of the camouflage, which ends up being dropped right away. Acend find himself 3 down once again. FaZe are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, they have full control, and this goes right back to what we were talking about before, right? That if you let FaZe get comfortable, you're going to see guys like Spartan pop off, be able to get himself 9 kills at the early part of the game. Meanwhile, on the other side, Acend, no one has really been able to differentiate themselves from the rest of the pack. They've been struggling to just try and find answers where they can, and this is really a predicament that Acend just simply could not find themselves in at the early part of this series. Granted, it is still early days. We have plenty more game left to go here, but you have to wonder, if you're Acend, you're kind of doubts creeping in the back of your mind here, man. because you're losing these fights, you're taking these one-on-ones, you're getting constantly double-teamed. There really just isn't anything that you could do to try and like get the opening here, and FaZe are just shutting down every door.
GB, I'm honest with you, I'm beyond wonder. I'm worried at this point. Acend, this is your best game type. You have to put up a better effort. As of right now, you are getting dominated. FaZe are making a statement, not just to you, but the rest of the pool.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, a dominating win here could certainly, and look, I mean, I think a lot of people know that, you know, obviously like for the EU regions and stuff, especially when they come to the international events like this, it's always going to be like, you know, top 8 potentially, right? You're really hoping for that. But I think for FaZe, it feels like this is a team that's trying to just play for a championship. They're trying to get a chip under their belt. Can you imagine if they're able to do that here in Orlando right before Halo World Championship, which literally, like, it feels like it's next week. So, you know, that would be unbelievable if FaZe were able to do that here. But Acend still have to find the openings where they can. It's Strongholds. You can still come back into this.
Acend trying to make a comeback here, holding on to the double cap. Spartan getting aggressive, finally dies, but it's only his 3rd death. The man has 11 kills and was dominating with the shock rifle. It changes hands, and now Acend have an opportunity to do the same.
I mean, even thinking about who are some of the players, like the standout players that you want to be paying attention to on this team, right? Look at Snipedrone. Snipedrone's sitting at 1-4. Like, it's not every day that you see a player as good of a slayer as Snipedrone struggling to be able to just get anything going in this one. And it doesn't help that, like, Falcated, Spartan, they're all over you. Then when you got to worry about those two guys, and you got Renegade, you know, rounding up the rear, it really does feel like this FaZe squad has just become a very complete squad, especially with the addition of Nick, who's down to do the dirty work.
Acend is searching for answers. They're scrambling. And as of right now, FaZe again are dominating. You're talking about another triple cap, completely applying pressure. Acend, the moment they spawn, they have reticles trained on them. Nobody can get into a base, at least confidently. We see a push come out of Acend as they try to work on the Charlie and the B side, but here come FaZe to push them out.
Yeah, really every single time that you see like this slight opening, this slight opportunity for Acend. I mean, even right now, right, you have 3 down. So this is your opportunity to try and see if you can get control of this map. I mean, do you go for the trip cap? You've been struggling with the control this entire time, but if you're able to win those 1v1s, able to win those big pivotal fights, maybe, just maybe, that could be enough, right? The question that's on my mind here is whether or not FaZe are going to be able to just clap back and get back into the driver's seat like the way that they've been doing this entire game.
It ends up going down.
And here it is.
So does Lqgend. FaZe once again advancing forward onto the Alpha side. We're seeing Acend do a great job of stealing away Charlie, but they're getting out-rotated here. Once again, Alpha's gonna change hands. Finally ends up going down to Acend. Now get a chance to whip back. Renegade steals away Charlie though, and now that camouflage ends up in the hands of FaZe, and Renegade gets a double kill. Acend, you need to figure something out.
Yeah, and you know, I wanted to see FaZe. How did they respond? You know, when they were down, it was a trip cap. It wasn't looking all that great for them, but they found that next level, that next gear, as they're at 235 to 65, presently capturing A, have control of B. Spartans overlooking it over toward Glass. The rest of the Acend guys making their way long haul. They have to essentially fly over to B to try and stop it. They need to get at a point right now, Tony, but as the time continues to tick down, Spartan's got his eyes on Sica. Legend's trapped inside of the control tower, and that is basically it. FaZe Clan walk all over Acend, 250-65 in a statement game here in map 1. Unreal.
You said walk. I thought they were dancing. I saw a little merengue over
it
there.
Felt like
I don't know. That wasn't walking. I saw.
You know what I'm saying? A little. They were clearly dancing on their tears and sorrows, because that's exactly what it felt like watching that. This is, if this is the level that we would be expecting of FaZe this weekend, then yes, maybe I was underselling them, because I wasn't too certain, honestly. Not because you know, like, I don't think that they're bad players. I think they're all exquisite players. But the thing is, man, you know, these are guys who have only been a team for like what, a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, dude. It's kind of, I wasn't expecting this kind of, you know, ferocity out of the gate. 250-65, man. Tony, Acend got to find an answer in Slayer.
The thing is, the moment they brought in KingNick, the vibe changed. I'm not even talking about in the game. I'm just talking about outside of the game. We saw momentum immediately shift towards FaZe, and now you're beating Acend on one of their best game types, going Slayer Aquarius. We know FaZe, that's one of their best.
Yeah. I mean, I think they feel rather confident with how this is actually going to play out here. I mean, yeah, even looking at some of the stats, like most recently, you know, this is. I think that also too, right? Like, because his team is so new, there's always when you know they were online, there was always going to be a little bit of those growing pains. I actually had a chance to, you know, opposite side of that, talk to Ryanu about, you know, the squad, and yeah, he was saying, like, even after the last game that they had on main stage, really just trying to find the groove, you know, trying to find the groove, trying to find like the chemistry. And I think with the way that this FaZe roster has been put together, they're going to find that chemistry a lot easier because they have such strong slayers on their team. You managed to neutralize Snipedrone, who's an amazing player, and you had guys like Falcated and Spartan just going off.
I love talking about Falcated. I love that we have his stats on screen. When your eyes get drawn to the FaZe roster, what are you looking? You're looking at Renegade. You're looking at Spartan, big personality, big names, but it's so funny. Falcated, excuse me, flies under the radar.
He really does.
And he's so underrated, and maybe he doesn't get as many slays as Renegade does at the end of the day, but what he does do, objective time. So not only are you keeping up in the slays department as your leading slayer, but also that objective time is on point. You're keeping your team alive. He's an all-around player for a reason. And Falcated is the most underrated player that we have in the league. Watch out for this young man. Halo Infinite is his game. Yeah,
you're 100% right. I mean, you know, it kind of even reminds me of like Snakebite on Sentinels, right? Like a guy that could do literally everything. He can slay, he could do the objective, he's assisting, he's making space, he's creating opportunities for his squad. Falcated does that and then some for FaZe. So now you just put, you know, Falcated with two other high-quality slayers like Spartan and Renegade, and then you also have Nick, who is no slouch at all. If anything, you know, I would even go as far as say maybe he's like the missing piece in the puzzle of that, you know, of those four players. Yeah, you got yourself a very dangerous team here. But, you know, enough about FaZe. I mean, on the other side, though, I was really shocked to just see Acend start off, you know, really flat. And it felt like, you know, the things that they can normally get away with when they're playing in Europe, these teams are just not letting them have that space here.
Yeah, I mean, we knew this was going to be a tough time right off the rip. But Acend normally to not put, let's be honest, that pathetic of a result on. We expect Acend to play against FaZe and to play them well. Going into the Slayer Aquarius back in scrims, they only lost by 2 kills on Aquarius Slayer. I need Lqgend to pop off. When we talked to their coach, Kronos, he talked about Lqgend having the best shot on the team and also being the most aggressive player. Their pushes start and end through Lqgend. So when I'm looking for them going to Aquarius, I'm looking at Lqgend. You gotta pop off.
Yeah, well, but also too, right? Like if Lqgend's going to be that aggressive player, then who's going to be there to make the space, right? Or not necessarily make the space, because Lqgend's going to be the one to make the space. Who's going to be the one to kind of like bring up the rear, right? Because like I feel like the thing that happened in that game was that a player, you know, whether it was like Lqgend or even like, you know, Sica, depending on this on the situation, would like try and push into a fight. But there's like no one in the back line supporting them. There's no one there because, you know, they just get cut off. You know, they just get cut off by someone else, or, you know, they're in a fight that they can't win, or they're in a 1v1. And again, like you have 3 phenomenal slayers on that FaZe roster. It's very hard for one individual to try and do that against them when they know that that's more than likely going to be the attempted play here. So this has just been, for that first game, I didn't expect it to go the way that it went. But now that it did, I'm even more intrigued in this Slayer game because, yeah, I do want to see that opportunity. I do want to see Lqgend make that, you know, kind of like forge a gold from nothing, you know. I think it's very possible. You just got to start off hot.
Well, I said I was looking at Lqgend. You're looking for a back player. That means you're going to be looking for Snipedrone, and we have to see them run in tandem. Because one thing we learned about Halo Infinite, there's only so much you could do by yourself. This has to be one of the most team-based Halos of all time.
Outside of Halo 3.
You got to be baiting and switching. You got to be playing not only for yourself, not only for the kills, but playing for your teammate and keeping them alive going into this Slayer Aquarius. I'm going to be honest with you. I still give FaZe the advantage.
Oh yeah,
It's tough. They punish you.
I mean, I'm just trying to be a storyline enjoyer right now, you know.
But
yeah, you know, I'm just trying to lay it out there for the people at home who are watching, watching for skins, and you know, I'm trying to make sure that we paint this picture, right, of what could potentially happen here, because Acend are a phenomenal team. Although it felt like they were the talk of the town at the beginning of the year. And then it kind of, the conversation kind of shifted a little bit more. I feel like whenever we do these international events, it's always like Na'Vi or Quadrant that get a little bit more of the spotlight, the shine, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, Europe, they're getting competitive. We just saw Na'Vi go toe-to-toe with Sentinels, and not even the best team in Europe as of right now. We've seen Quadrant do their thing, maybe not against G1, but back in Kansas City, they took them to Game 5. In fact, Quadrant were the winners. So we're starting to see Europe really come into their own.
Yeah.
And we got a chance to talk to like Shurzy and Dan, and the likes of Sentinels, the likes of Optics, they're starting to respect Europe, where in the past, they tried to look past them.
Yeah, they have. They have. By the way, we just got an update. We're waiting on one of the players. He had to trek over to Narnia for the bathroom. I'm not lying to you. It's like really far. So, you know, they got to run across to go use the bathroom and have that bio break. But the player should be getting back here in a minute, and then we'll jump right into the action. But yeah, Slayer, Aquarius, and then CTF on Catalyst will be coming up, you know, immediately after that, which, you know, I haven't had a chance to commentate Catalyst yet, but I wanted to get your thoughts, like, on that map, right? Because it seems like it's, some people like it, some people don't like it.
It's not my favorite map. I'm not gonna lie to you. However, I'm starting to grow. It's starting to grow on me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting plays you can make with the grapple, going under the map, going around the map. Really utilize the sandbox and the equipment, and the sword being out of play so far in this professional play really has opened up the map. But before we get there, we got to go to Recharge. We're talking about that camouflage over towards the middle. We're talking about those dynamo grenades. There's so much of the sandbox here on Aquarius, and the map is so small and so punishing. If you're able to control these resources, you will control the game.
Yeah, that's right. You know, watch out for the dynamo grenades. That's actually going to be, you know, dynamo and thrusters. Low key, it's just so important for you to just cycle and control. Because so many fights can be won or lost with those thrusters, and then you can also just open up engagements with dynamo grenades every single time. So you're going to be looking for players to try and control the carbine side of the map, as well as try and control their individual courtyards, as you see right here. Sica's actually going to be the first one to grab thruster for his squad here. No kills exchanged quite yet, but it seems like actually we may have to flip this, because I believe that we are on, yes, okay, I think it is finally corrected. So we are on board with Sica from Acend. So in fact, it was Renegade who got it first. But just as I say that, forget all of that noise. Four kills straight out of the gate for Acend. What a way to start. That is literally what they had to do, opposite of what happened in game 1.
The game was trying to tell us, hop on Sica. The man's about to make a play for the camouflage. On board now with respectful. Ends up being taken down here. So we do see Acend starting off much harder, starting off with so much more life than we saw in that game number 1. Now we're going to see if FaZe can bounce back.
Falcated gets challenged by Lqgend low. It's going to be 2 down right now. Renegade with this camo might actually open up an opportunity here for FaZe to get themselves like the 5th kill. They are going to, actually 2 players grouped up right next to one another, but no, Renegade did not see that. So as a result of that, Respectful was able to get that critical kill, stop the camo, and keep the lead going. If it's only just by 2, but against FaZe, that could be the difference maker.
Acend having an opportunity to now control the game, as Snipedrone takes to the skies, goes right after KingNick. A big kill for him, and now we're going to see Acend try to overwhelm and isolate Sparty. Down to 1 shot he goes. Acend playing so patient. I love this play right here, but now FaZe have a little bit of backup.
Yeah. Keeping this one within 2. Going to be pushing inside of the yellow util here. Spartan knows this, so he's going to need some help, and he's going to get it in the form of Falcated, but it's not really going to be enough for him there, because Falcated goes down to the likes of Lqgend, though. Spartan's going to open things up. Able to get that kill against Lqgend, which is pretty big. And you're also going to have those dynamos coming up in a moment's notice here as well. Camo's up in 1 second. It is going to be available, and it is going to get grabbed and used by Falcated, but it is going to get, I believe it was used there, but no, actually I stand corrected. It was picked up by Snipedrone. Even better for Acend, because now they have control of it, and I tell you, they were moving so fast over there. I thought that he had managed to get it, but even then, that works out just the way it should for Acend.
FaZe were in position. You would have thought Falcated would have been able to steal away that camouflage, but Acend getting the slays when it matters most. Sadly, they're not able to do much with it. As we switch gears over towards Renegade right now, the leading Slayer. Shoot, always the leading Slayer on this roster is Renegade, the ultimate hunter, one of the most aggressive players to have in the game. I always love having my POV on Renegade.
Yeah, and he's got the heat wave too. So he should be able to easily find a few kills here, but they are going to have 2 in front of him. Lqgend, a big kill on Renegade. Thought he would have actually been able to scoop up maybe one of those. Doesn't work out the way that he hoped so. Snipedrone on your screen as he's challenging that fight too. Actually, 3 players, just scattered on the left portion of the map here. And then you had, I believe that was going to be Spartan all the way off into the distance. So kind of gets a little slowed down here, but it's within 1. So FaZe keeping this really close, and we're finally going to get that tied game.
Both of these teams are showing so much respect for each other. Obviously, Acend know what's on the line here, but even FaZe, they're not overextending. They're not isolating themselves. They're making sure that they have their numbers stats so they can set up those bait and switches. But as I say that, Acend, they find themselves 4 down. You cannot go 4 down against FaZe. They're going to identify your spawns, and they're going to punish you.
Yeah, they will, and that's exactly what's happening right here. Player by Fridge, even though trying to stay up and alive here. Pretty big. Snipedrone going to be in the back of the blue base. Falcated's got eyes on him. The sidekick's going to be pretty much a primary in that instance. Very well done with that small arms pistol. Falcated does identify another one. He got the call too, and just the way that he's moving, the calls are coming in, and you can tell Falcated moves with so much purpose because not only does he know where everything is, but he's getting the info as well. Camo is going to be up for grabs here. Renegade gets possession of it and will get cleaned up. Don't know if he burned it yet, but we'll see if someone else manages to pick it up.
Lqgend getting himself in position. He knows that the pressure is coming from that utility side, and Lqgend already has eyes on it. Renegade was able to spawn up, and that thrust sitting up top. Renegade might want to play for that one along with the top side control that he knows that he needs. The thrust is now in hands. Renegade already dangerous with no equipment, but now with the thrust, he's going to want to get into your face. He's going to want to make a play.
Yeah, that was actually just a good checkout play there, right? Like chuck the nade over toward the flag area, right? Just to ensure no one was going to push that aggressively. Kind of gave himself a little bit of coverage there. Renegade just does so many things right, and even though it didn't quite work out the way that he wanted to, it's really just going to be enough to maintain this lead here for FaZe Clan. 33-29 presently. Acend looking for that opening. Respectful is going to be in the back of the field, but KingNick gets the melee on him, and you can see the instant trade out that happens, right? And then Spartan is able to meet them up top. A double kill for him. Spawn in the back of blue here. The fight could actually be challenged any moment now, but even with that, the way that Spartan moves with such purpose around this map, Tony, that's the reason why they're up by 7 after being down by 3.
Spartan having one hell of a game, so much that he decides to nade himself a little bit just to give Acend a chance. The man is going off, throws a little bit of a Marty Dom grenade to try to do as much damage as possible before he gets taken down. But before he does, 14-9 so far for Sparty, the leading slayer in FaZe here on Aquarius.
Yeah, everyone's just contributing so much, backing each other up here. It's taking a lot of effort for Acend to just get 1 kill against FaZe. But Sica, a double kill, might actually be the change that they needed here. If you identify where one of them is, you know that there's more than likely going to be at least one other player located in that area. If those 2 players on the other side of the map manage to take out Falcated, oh, but that's going to be a rough one, though. Sica does get the cleanup kill on Spartan, but at this point now, you're looking at a camo control for FaZe, and on top of that, it's 42-36. You're just continuing to add on heatwave control too, Tony. It's like, you can't win this game if you're not going to control the power-ups.
Acend were focused on getting Sparty off the map. Renegade was focused on snatching up that camo, combine it with the heat wave. One of the most dangerous combinations in Halo Infinite, and you're seeing why as Renegade puts it to work. Just 7 more kills away from taking game number 2 and being 1 game away from advancing forward.
That, of course, will come in the form of Catalyst CTF for game number 3. Still, though, Acend not out of this quite yet, though. It's only going to be a 5-kill game. You really just can't give up any dumb deaths at this point, right? You can't take any fights individually. You kind of have to just hold hands and work together here. But you got to get control of those power items, right? Get control of weapons like the heat wave, as well as the camo to boot. But Spartan, a kill and a trade there instantly. Nicely done. But this is exactly what FaZe want. Every single time a kill comes through, there's someone there for the trade right away to keep this within 4. But it's going to be the 43rd kill for Snipedrone. Snipedrone, though, going to get so weak, and he tried to get around the corner, but the nade followed him and took him out.
FaZe might have been able to get that kill, but Acend are not out of it just yet. You're only down by 4 kills. 1 good wipe as Respectful looks to take control of the 50% portion of the map. Shots started to ring out, but another kill goes in favor of FaZe as they inch closer and closer to the 50-kill mark.
Yeah, that's going to be kill number 48. Renegade trying to create an opportunity with that heat wave down low. but they are going to scoop up that kill. That's going to be kill number 49. FaZe just need one more kill, and it could come from Nick here, but Lqgend gets the win. But maybe there could be someone from FaZe to scoop it up. Yes, there is, and that is going to do it. A 50-46. So credit where credit is due to Acend for keeping that one close. But FaZe, man, there was a point in time where they were up by like 6 or 8, or I think it was like 7 or 8 rather, and you could just tell like Acend were just trying to scrape away any kills they could. The better part about that for FaZe was that every single time a kill came through for Acend, someone was there from FaZe to trade it out every time.
And that's what it's all about. Sparty was literally making sure that he covered each and every one of his teammates back. And even when, like you said, when Falcated and Renegade ended up going down, who's there to pick up the pieces? It's Sparty McFlying at you, making sure that he cleans up every single one of those kills. Those 17 kills went in favor of Sparty, but let's be honest, about 15 of them were cleanups.
Yeah, and you're okay with that, right? Because that's literally the job. That's what he was doing. He was playing the back line. And we did want to see like Lqgend create an opportunity, open up the field. He did do that a few times. The players were backing him up. And I think if anything, this showed that, you know, game one definitely was more of the, you know, like, wow, I can't believe that happened. Whereas like game two, this is what I had expected from FaZe Acend. A close matchup, but FaZe ultimately coming out. But yeah, to talk about it again, that 17 kill game that Spartan put up was unbelievable.
I love how Falcated only had 8 kills, -2. And then I look at the assist column. The man has 14 assists. Literally just setting Sparty up over and over again, and Sparty was simply knocking them down. That was a team effort coming out of FaZe. Coordination, pressure, and just ultimately winning Halo, one game away from knocking Acend down. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I thought there was gonna be a much closer game.
Yeah, you know, I had my my hopes as well. Really, for me, it was what we were going to see in game one, and I think game one kind of told us the entire story of how this series is going to play out. You know, Acend have good ideas, get close, but it's ultimately just going to be that raw slaying power of FaZe Clan was just going to be enough for them to just, you know, pick up those wins, right? And here you see, it was a strong start, by the way, for FaZe in that Strongholds game. I would say that the Strongholds game, even though I said, like, I was looking at that one as kind of like the series layout, it definitely looks like an outlier when you think about Acend as a squad. But 50-46, strong matchup. I'm expecting Catalyst CTF to go the distance potentially here, Tony.
Last time these two matched up in scrims, it was FaZe that beat them out 5-2. So it was still a pretty dominant win for FaZe, but either way, this is land.
Yep.
And Acend have an opportunity to prove that they belong here. You brought in Respectful specifically for these North American events. You were already dominating Europe. You were already the #1 team by far, but they weren't satisfied. Bring in Respectful. We thought that was going to bring in a new swagger to this team moving to these North American events. So far against FaZe, haven't seen it just yet.
Yeah, you know, you're right? We haven't seen it just yet. It was always going to be a tall task, right? Especially for one player to have to change it up. I mean, you know, look at FaZe, right? You got, you know, Renegade, a world champion. You know, you have Falcated, a guy who really has just found himself here in Halo Infinite. Spartan, who's always been dynamic. KingNick, who just put so much effort in just ensuring that the job gets done. It was going to be a tall task always for Respectful to have to be that player to step up for the team. But hey, you could do it here in Catalyst CTF. It's not impossible. It is very, very doable. You just got to have a strong start, just like you did on Aquarius Slayer.
Yeah, luckily for Acend, this is still FaZe's weakest game type and map combination. Let's be honest, they don't like Catalyst at all. Acend, if there's any opportunity for you to get a game, steal some momentum, it's got to be right here, right now. And it starts and ends with that overshield spawning over towards the mid-map.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the items that are going to be so pivotal here. Of course, on the sword side of the map now is going to be Sica with a push. Few kills starting to come through here. So he's going to make this push up on top of the ramp here. And I actually think that this could very well be an opening, but they need to have a little bit more support. But just as I say that, Sica is going to get flanked there, gets absolutely dropped. Falcated with the cleanup with the commando, which he's been diabolical with that gun all series long. And there you have it. So an attempted push, and dare I say, a very flat push. It wasn't anything that there was no mustard behind it. You want a little pepper. There was no pepper behind that, Tony. And I think that FaZe knew exactly what they had coming for them.
Yes, Acend did a great job off of the opening break. You won the starting strat. You got the right to play offense, but FaZe's defense was able to clear them out of the base. Now Renegade ends up losing a gunfight, doesn't lose many. Snipedrone now having the opportunity to really open things up for the rest of his teammates to come off the spawn, now get into position behind enemy lines. Can Snipedrone be a nuisance, that Walshy-like player to face?
Yeah, well, he's going to need to, but instead all he's going to do is just get a trade out of that. Certainly not what Snipedrone would have wanted. If he was able to have, just caught someone off guard, got the back whack, maybe got a 4, it just helped out with his teammates who were positioned on the opposite side. Maybe you could have seen an opportunity here, but we are going to see this flag pull. It is going to be a flag pull on each side of the map. Sica's just going to bring this over to his teammate's side, but there is going to be a member of FaZe there potentially to meet him there. As a matter of fact, it's going to be Spartan right in front of him, and Spartan ends up getting the melee. Even after those shots were starting to pepper him, it was so unfortunate. Flag is going to be down. Renegade going to try and go for the re here alongside his teammate, and that is going to be stopped right in its tracks. And potentially a flag cap.
Acend were almost able to run that flag home, but Sparty coming in with the overextension, the double kill, clearing out FaZe, able to get the return, and now having an accountable opportunity. But you need Renegade. Renegade goes down, and Lqgend and Acend, the constant pressure. We're seeing yet another pull fresh off a return.
Yeah, and also no one inside of the Acend base to stop this one. So Lqgend's gonna march this right in 1-0, and it goes right back to what you said, Tony. This is the map in game type to try and catch FaZe off guard. First blood is struck, and it is going to be the Europeans who manage to find that success.
Do not count Acend out just yet, as we see another pull going in. Sparty now trying to overextend, trying to find the line of sight, but it's being blocked. Multiple members going down for FaZe. Acend are running a flag train. Pull after pull. Respectful gets the flag in. We might be up 2-0. for Acend.
Yeah, and Respectful's just waiting to see if anyone was going to try and stop him with nades, but does not happen. Even though one comes in right at the last second, that is going to be flag cap number 2 for Acend already. Just that you said, running the train, right? Just starting to get those relays over and over and over again could spell doom for FaZe if they're not careful.
Where was this Acend the first 2 games? Ascenders showing new life so far on Catalyst, something that we haven't seen, especially not in that game number 1 where they got dominated. This is the objective efficiency that we expected. We also expect Spartan to peel head, puts them on the barbecue, puts them on the skewer, the Spartan.
He's going to take that skewer off of the map. Totally get that. Don't want to leave that one up to chance. Falcated marching around here on the green side as he's going to just locate Snipedrone. He's low. He might have a teammate there to back him up, but he'll go on the chase only because he knows that he can pretty much just push this. And oh, I just saw, unfortunately, one of the FaZe members had disconnected. So unfortunate, to say the least, but, you know, I mean, I think it goes without saying, even with that disconnection happening, Acend were just dominating that game.
Yeah, Acend were doing a great job of just continuously being in the base of FaZe. You know, it tells you about that constant pressure that Acend are able to create when FaZe are not only worried about getting the slays and playing offense, but also worried about getting Acend out of your base, sweeping them out. I think it was well played by Acend. There's a reason why they're up 2-0 so far. Yeah.
I think they realize that this is also a weakness for FaZe, and they, you know, the Catalyst CTF game mode. So it feels as if they're really just trying to exploit this as much as they can, because they know this is their opportunity to get back into this series. But we'll find out what the official ruling is from the stage. I believe that Acend will be up 2-0, but, you know, I mean, then again, it's been like 18 years since I've commentated, so I don't know what the rules are these days. Came back in, no one's playing swords anymore, you know what I mean? Come on, guys. But the point is, I think that this is it. This is where Acend find their opening.
I mean, yeah, and clearly, out of all the games we've seen so far, that was the most dominant we've seen Acend. We've finally seen them start to show life and really show presence on the map, where before they were coming out lethargic. That game number 1 was dominated by FaZe. I want to see them keep the same energy.
And just like that, everything's been resolved, or, you know, fingers crossed, at least for the time being, as we jump back into the action here on Catalyst Capture the Flag. Acend is up 2-0. We got 8 minutes on the clock, I believe. So let's see how this whole thing shakes out.
And I love the fact that we've actually lowered the timer here. Put that 8 minutes on the clock. Acend have earned that 2-0 lead, but also time becomes a factor often in these Capture the Flag games here on Halo Infinite. So Really happy that we lowered the time. Let's see if Acend can keep that same energy in game number 1. And of course, Snipedrone's already boxing with FaZe.
Yeah, Snipedrone now looking to get himself another kill there, but Falcated's gonna change it out instead. 4 down now for Acend. Remember, FaZe, they're down by 2, but when it comes to a map like Catalyst, as big as it is, where the spawns are, you have to just, you know, you have to slowly make progress on the map. You can't just like go get 4 kills and expect to think a flag will happen. This isn't, you know, like something like midship or something like that. You need to get those rounds of slays over and over and over again, and that's exactly what FaZe Clan do, and now they're going to be marching this flag up the middle courtesy of Renegade.
Step 1, get the kill. Step 2, identify the spawn. Step 3, get yourself a Renegade. That's exactly what FaZe have done, and we found them 0-2 so far in this game, but just like that, FaZe are back in it, just 1 game away from taking a series.
Yeah, that's it. You know, they win here if they're able to get the 2 flag caps, right? At that point, remember, all Acend have to do is just get 3 flag caps. FaZe, in order for them to win this, they need to get 2 plus whatever else they can manage to scrape up here. You know, granted, if they can hold Acend down to 0 right now, I mean, that would just be it, and that would be mind-blowing and really unfortunate as well, because I feel like Acend, they were on a little bit of a hot streak there. They were able to get 2 flags back-to-back off of a relay. Maybe, just maybe, they can start to find that here, potentially, as Lqgend will struggle to locate a kill. Does get cleaned up as we jump over to Renegade, the guy who managed to put that first flag cap in just at the start of this game.
I saw the overshield come up not too long ago, but I'm actually not sure who was able to grab hold of it. That's going to be really important. Controlling the resources haven't been any more important, especially now that the sword is not in play. We can imagine that overshield and that skewer, even the equipment, are going to gain so much more value as Renegade curve sliding across the map. Finally decided to pull that flag. Doesn't have the slays they're looking for just yet, so doubles back and now goes in for the challenge.
Oh, you know, I really like that. What he was trying to do was just really create an opportunity, bring some of the members of Acend back over here. As we look over to Falcated's perspective here, Falcated able to get the, or scratch that, KingNick gets the kill there. They're now going to just continue to just patrol around their flag and ensure that no one from Acend are going to be making progress inside of this base. They know that there's going to be 1 more body still left standing here. They have to handle that player before they want to try and push out and get themselves that 2nd flag cap.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know what happened during that reset, but FaZe are looking a lot more cleaner so far. 1 cap on the board, still technically down by 1 is FaZe. Acend, you got to take advantage of this opportunity that you have. There's 4 minutes and 38 seconds on the clock. Do not allow FaZe into your base.
No, you cannot, but it seems like Falcated is just going to force the door wide open. Flag is going to get capped. They know exactly where the spawns are coming in. 2 players spawning right on the overgrowth side of the map. They're going to be marching this flag across gold side. This is perfection personified for FaZe. They got the cutoffs, but now they have to worry about stopping this push that's going to be coming from the opposite side of the map here.
Flag still on the move. Looks like
They got
Falcated
2.
might be able to run this flag in, and mind you, Renegade's on the other side of the map. Renegade's already running yet another flag to relay the trust that he has in his team. Acend, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and that's off the back of Spartan just getting some massive kills. Overshield's going to be up for grabs as well. Falcated, excuse me, locates respectful. You got 3 players. They're going to be located on that right side of the map here. Falcated with that kill finds himself a double. Finally, Sica's going to get the cleanup though, and Renegade just trying to drain that overshield as much as possible, and actually is successful in doing so. So that OS isn't going to play that much of a role here, and that's going to be a 3rd flag cap for FaZe Clan, Tony. They are up 1 in this game.
So how frustrating can that be? You grab yourself an overshield, you do everything you're supposed to in order to succeed, and FaZe not only neutralize that overshield, but while doing it, they captured another flag. Lqgend, back on the map, wasn't able to get value out of that overshield, but maybe he can get value out of these slays. FaZe go 3 down, they're off a spawn, Lqgend's in position.
And he's got the angle. He sees KingNick. This is actually just a brilliant read here, but you got to stop this aggressive 3-man push that's coming on the overgrowth side of the map. Snipedrone is going to go down. Lqgend gets cleaned up there, and that is so unfortunate because they were hoping for the overextension on the other side of the map, but instead, because they couldn't get the flag out fast enough, they had 3 players push aggressively right behind the flag carrier and preventing that play from happening. And for Acend, you're right back to the drawing board.
Sica gets cleared out here. Acend going right back into that over-aggressive playstyle, but FaZe are able to spot them out and win these individual battles. Spartan rips apart one, ends up going down himself. We see a bit of a standoff. Falcated wants to get into the fight, but of course Lqgend hits his shot.
Renegade, of course, with that commando, we see how deadly that weapon could possibly be here. Potential flag return. It's going to be so close. They do manage to get the cap, though. It's just going to be Renegade left standing here. He's got to wait for the shields to come back, but the nades are going to clean him out, and that is going to be multiple players down for FaZe. Falcated looking to get the shots across map. Has no other choice but to just rely, well, I was going to say rely on Spartan, but you can see Spartan's carcass dead lying on the ground there. Is there going to be anyone else to try and help them out? Flag is going to be down. Maybe Falcated makes a play here, Tony.
Acend find himself 3 down at the worst possible scenario. Falcon is already extended forward, not able to get the kill, so Acend do punch that flag in, but I believe FaZe might have been able to grab hold of the overshield. If there's any chance for them to counter this, it's on the back of Renegade having the overshield and Spartan having the flag.
Spartan, wise play here, just waiting for his shields to come back. He's got the overshield player alongside him. Good distance on that flagpole too. And this is looking like it could be a potential FaZe cap here. You really want to clear out some of these players that are going to be lurking. 2 players go down, as a matter of fact, for Acend. Make that 3. Snipedrone's going to be the last man standing on the opposite side of the base, but he will get skewered by Renegade. Spartan marches his flag across. This could very well be flag cap number 4, and it is. With only 1 minute left on the clock. What a bounce back, Tony, for FaZe Clan.
This was technically a tied up game, but now FaZe only 1 cap away from taking it. Acend still 2. They still have that 2 cap lead.
That's right.
Going from the
3.
reset here. So at this point, Acend are still in it, but there's 43 seconds on the clock. At this point, FaZe might just play keep away with the flag.
Yeah, they really could. They have to just try and hold this one off. Only a few seconds remaining. 4 players down for Acend. Sica and Snipedrone are going to be the first ones to answer the call. But with KingNick on the cross here, it's going to be really hard to cross this map like this when you have a BR peppering you from distance, just as it is. 20 seconds remaining. Spartan's going to be tucked away in the back of the base. All they got to do is hold the line, and that is curtains for Acend. What a heartbreaker. And I know that they were really starting to find some momentum at the start of that game. Obviously, things happen. It's unfortunate, but FaZe Clan managed to pick up a pivotal win here. A statement was made. 4-3. Don't let your eyes deceive you there on the screen. 4-3. FaZe get the win.
Love that you said a statement was made. What did we talk about before the series? An up and down season for FaZe.
That's right.
We didn't know what to expect for them. You know, you bring together what we thought was going to be a god squad. You look absolutely crushed and defeated towards the first life of the trio of Falcated, Renegade, and Spartan. Obviously, Snipedrone wasn't the mix that you wanted to see. You bring in KingNick, and now look where FaZe are right now. You're talking about tournament after tournament, absolutely shredding the competition, looking, competent against, the likes of Optics and Sentinels in scrims, and looking like they're within the conversation. And you just Acend. Acend have really been stepping into their own and been looking dominant, and you couldn't tell by that series.
No, you couldn't tell. That's the scary part about this. And now FaZe Clan, with that win, they now feel just a touch more comfortable, I would say, in this group, right? As they should. This was a fantastic, it started really with game 1. Once we went and recharged Strongholds, Tony, you could tell that just the tone of the game was just going to be FaZe aggression over and over and over again. That is exactly what happened there. That's why it's 250-65. And you know what? There was a world, there's a multiverse out there where Acend wins the Aquarius Slayer game. There is, it could be, but I think that there was a potential, but ultimately that's not the universe we live in.
Sadly not. It must right there with Anti-Flash being the hero. Right? I'm not sure which multiverse that.
Reverse Flash,
I said Anti-Flash.
Yeah, I like how I said 616 and I made a multiverse reference, and then you made a DC reference. So I actually really appreciate that. Thank you so much. As a comic book fan, I really like that. But you can see the game that's coming up next on your screen. We're gonna get Cloud9 here on the Bravo stream against Space Station Gaming. Tony, always a pleasure. I want to get your quick thoughts on that game, though, man. How do you feel about C9 this event?